All right, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Wakak, Wadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, the elect, the hopeful elect, Lord willing, with some of those men and women. Hey, I'm the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson, and it was inspired by this clip that I was watching on Hezekiah News, his film Salakia, and it showed the Northern Kingdom, going through hell in America. Um, Esau has done a great job of dividing us, even though in reality it was the Lord that took that brotherly love from us. So that's why the children of Judah, so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, in the so-called in the Northern Kingdom, Israel, so-called Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. It's been a conflict between us, you know. But Esau has exploited that division. Matter of fact, let me get a precept real quick. So again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashan Shai, first and foremost, the Lord broke that brotherhood between the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. But we still suffer together. Okay, we still go through these different changes together. Here, this is a report from like 1971, supposedly 1971, in the Northern Kingdom, so-called Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, they call them squatters. They was going through gentrification back then, and Esau didn't care that he was displacing whole families. The same thing he did to Judah when America expanded its urbanization of of America, building highways, building building highway systems, all right, which went directly through um what you would call urban areas where our people lived at, and Esau called them blighted areas. But again, like I say, Esau, when I say Esau, I'm talking about the so-called white man, chiefly starting with the elite, the movers and shakers, who oppress our people continually and who exploit the broken brotherhood between us, right? So this is Zechariah 11 and 14. Then I cut in sunder my other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. It says the NLT. Then I took my other staff, union, and cut it in two, showing that the bond of unity between Judah and Israel was broken. And right, because we sin against the Lord, Yahweh Shai, the Lord broke that bond between us. Then we had King. Obviously, the kingdom had split after King Solomon's death, but that bond and brotherhood was broken, and our enemies used that as an opportunity to exploit that. Have us thinking that one is doing better than the other. Have us thinking that one is better than the other. And in reality, we're both suffering from the same enemy. All right, we're both in the same condition. So I just want to play this real quick. Whole flag down just because they want to put new hotels. It's already they give us a temporary place to stay in until they break the block and fix it up and give us back our own market so we can, and make them bigger. Bigger families can live in it. But they just want to break it down to put more rent and smaller apartments so they can fit more people, but only their people, right? The whole block is being broken down. Yeah, and so like a lot of these areas in New York City that are built up, and not just New York City, all throughout America, um, it tore down these neighborhoods that housed mainly Negro and Latino and Native American people, right? And like she said, they just want to build these houses so that their people can live in it, and that's what they did. That's what gentrification is all about, you know, taking a city and pushing Jake into a corner till they can't be exist no more. I did a video some time ago, and this he looks like a Moabite, could have been something else, but could have been an Edomite, but he looked like a Moabite. He basically said to destroy the poor, like just blow them. He said that we should just be rounded up and put to death, roughly paraphrasing, just because we're poor. Because see, to the white man to be poor is a sin, right? But that's not a sin to Most High. You know what I mean? Esau exploits the poor.
Like they're planning to put new buildings, hotels that not even poor people can afford. I mean, rich people.
Yeah, because the rich, the wealthy, they don't care about the poor, right? They don't care about your livelihood. They don't want you to live in these big apartments and expand your families. They don't want that. They want you to be controlled. They want to put you in a box, right, and keep you there, right? And this is wicked because you know most Jake they stay where they at. You know what I mean? You can go through 3 or 4 generations in the same house if you let them. You know,
Landlords, all they think that just because they got money, they got rights to throw in stuff. They ain't. I don't know what they're gonna do with us. They'll have to look for a place for us.
which they don't. And that's the thing. Like they don't care about you. And it's the same thing that's going on today. You know, you think that these politicians and these wealthy individuals are supposed to have a heart into you, and they don't, and they won't. Because again, to be poor to them is like it's evil to the wealthy, to the elite, to the so-called white man, even down to his lesser ilk. Right? This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 13 and 15. This is another reason why the so-called white man don't want you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to be in their neighborhoods. They'll deal with a few of you or one of you, but they ain't finna deal with a whole bunch of you. And they know that when wherever our people dwell at in these countries, the housing market is going to dip. You know, the housing prices are going to fall, and all that comes with the curses. That's why the Lord said this in the book of Isaiah 60, right? Because don't nobody want to go through Jake right now, right? Um, don't nobody want to go through Jake, man. Right? This is yeah, Isaiah 60 and 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations, man. Let's look and see what that's saying in the NLT. Though you were once despised and hated, with no one traveling through you, I will make you beautiful forever, a joy of all generations, man. That's right, because these devils, they don't deal with Jake. These nations don't deal with us unless they're exploiting us, unless we're paying them for their services or goods, right? They don't come down. This man, none of these nations deal with us, right? And their thing is, we got to move them out. Let's just move them out, push them out, right? Because they don't want to dwell together. But then they push this universal mindset here in this country and abroad. But in reality, that's just talk. That's not reality. That's not what they really want, right? Because again, they look down on the poor. So going back to Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 13, verse 15, it says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. And your neighbor is your brother. Your neighbor is a person of your nation, right? Your neighbor is not another nation, a heathen. No, because the heathen like to be around each other, right? It says, all flesh consorteth according to kind, and man will cleave to his like. So Israelites typically cleave to Israelites. And you got that. What made me want to do this video is because I was wondering, why are Black and Latinos and Native Americans, pretty much Black and Latinos, I think that's what I had put, are highly concentrated and disproportionately in ghettos or low income areas. And so what I found was Blacks and Latinos are disproportionately represented, and Blacks stem. We ain't Black, right? We ain't Latinos. We're the Israelites, the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. Why are Blacks and Latinos disproportionately in the ghetto or lower income areas? So it says Blacks and Latinos are disproportionately represented in ghettos and lower income neighborhoods due to a long history of racial segregation in the United States. And segregation is consorting with your like, keeping you people in one place and the other people in another place, right? Because they don't want to mix with you. So it says all flesh consorteth according to the kind to kind, and man will cleave to his like. So man is no different. You're not going to see a lion and a cheetah hanging out together. They're both hunters, they're both cats, but they're different species of a cat, right? It says, what fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly, right? So sinners and godly people can't mix. Hey, us in this truth, right? Lord, when we endure to the end, we're the godly down here. You don't see us hanging out with wicked niggas. And when we say wicked niggas, that's considered to be sinners of our nation. We all go off, but we ain't relishing and reveling in our sin. So just like a lamb and a wolf can't have any fellowship, likewise the sinner and the godly. But that even goes even deeper. These other nations, the rich and the poor, all these we can't coexist together. We're not meant to do that. We're a different kind of people. It says Ecclesiastes 13 and 18. What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? And like there's never going to be no peace between the rich and the poor, because the rich look down at the poor and the poor is looking up at the rich like, man, you got all of this, why you won't help? Because you ain't their people, we ain't their people. They don't have a dog in our fight. They don't what they don't share the same things. So these people are not benevolent people. They're not going to take their wealth and give it to you. They claim about the wealth redistribution, and really the wealth redistribution that's about to happen is the rich going to keep getting rich, and they're going to suck the life out of the poor and keep the poor, so that the poor won't have anything. Right? You barely got anything. Our people are perpetual renters. Our people are perpetually in debt. It goes back to the curses, but also too, like I was saying earlier, these nations they exceeded. You know what I'm saying? Let me see that. Just, um, this is the book of, yep, Zechariah 1 and 15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction. Right. So the Lord put us through all of this hell that we've been through for his because he was displeased with us at breaking his laws, statutes, commandments, and disobeying him. But the heathen, they took that as an opportunity to destroy us even further, to further afflict us. And I'm speaking right now about the housing I was gonna say housing market, but just the housing situation here in America. And it's nothing changed from 1971 to 2024. It's the same shit still going on, right? But the heathen, they find a way to further oppress us. And the Lord said he's sore displeased with them because they're at ease, right? These nations, they're comfortable, right? It says, but I am very angry with the other nations that are now enjoying peace and security. Right. These Jakes in 1971, they wasn't enjoying peace and security. Peace and security was escaping them. She was even trying to get into projects, and they told her that it was going to take her 2 years. This is 1971, right? She got grown kids, 18. And she got sons and daughters. Let me play some more of this real quick.
People next door were kicked out 5 or 6 years ago. They're in the Bronx. The rich are grabbing everything. They push the poor to the side.
Yeah, they said the rich are grabbing everything. They push the poor to the side. It says in the NLT again, but I'm very angry with the other nations that are now enjoying peace and security. I was only a little angry with my people, but the nations inflicted harm on them far beyond my intentions. And this is an example of that. You know, here it is. We suffered the colonization of the Americas, right? Which involved murder on top of murder of millions of our people, and enslavement, and land theft, right? And then we suffered with the Southern Kingdom the same thing, and slavery, murder, land theft, all of that, because everything in this world points to this world not being the rest for the Israelites. This ain't a rest for us. This world ain't no rest for us. You gotta sell out. You gotta break your moral code. You gotta follow after Satan. Ain't no winning in Satan. I see why Yahweh Shai turned Satan down, man. When he tried to entice him with rulership. Nigga, the world was already Yahweh Shai's from the jump. And everything in it. Don't matter what kingdom it was. Yahweh Bashem Shai created all of this, you know? But at the end of the day, like you gotta break yourself to Esau in order to get a one up in this world. And they'll show you an individual Israelite, so-called Negro Latino, who supposedly made it, right? But you don't realize that them people sold out a long time ago. And they're in a pocket of the elites. So ain't no natural born Israelite in this country or around the world gonna just was organically become wealthy and doing righteous business and nothing. That's not gonna happen because this ain't our rest. This ain't our rest. Every 20 years, our identity changes. You know, you go from being Negro to colored to black to African American to Latino to Latinx to Hispanic, Native American. You can't even be comfortable in your own ethnicity, you know, let alone your own house, because this ain't our rest, right? Okay, so let's go back to Sirach 13 and 18. What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between rich and poor? It says, as a wild ass is the lion's prey, and in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. And she actually said that. You know, they just push the poor out. They don't care. They don't. And it's set up that way. In our kingdom, we're not going to care about these nations. We ain't going to care about, we ain't going to, the way y'all did us, man, was horrible. But after 1,000 years, man, you nations going to get your land back, not you Edomites. But the rest of you nations, you're going to get your land back. And you're going to be able to thrive. You're going to be under the thumb of the Israelites, but at least you're going to be able to live. So if y'all oppressed in y'all land, if y'all ain't eating, if y'all ain't getting the necessities of life, if you ain't getting housing, shelter, clothing, food, you blame that on y'all king. You ain't going to blame it on us because we doing more than what you nations ever did for us. You didn't give us nothing back. You just kept us in your prison cells, what you call countries, right? And you oppressed us always, man. And you only let a little bit of our people enjoy a little bit of the fruits of this world. But they got to do that via sacrificing themselves unto you. We don't have to do that. But again, this is the poor and the rich. And who's the poor? We are the Israelites. We're Lazarus in this world. And a rich man, it's you Edomites. As a wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor, right? And we're the prey to the rich, right? It says, as the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. You see? So the rich hate the poor. And Jake, simple ass, they think that they're supposed to feel some type of way because you in the house and you can't afford it. That you know what I'm saying? You got jobs that don't bring you no income in, right? That you under mountains of debt. You think this man's supposed to wake up with a heart one day and look at you and say, you know what? Let's help these people. Hell no. They abhor the poor. They want to stay away from you. That's why they kick you out. That's why they move you into the corners. That's why they move you to the corners and have you jacked up.
Votan a ustedes. ¿Y dónde van a vivir?
Tendremos que buscar sitio. Oye, como 3 años.
We have to find another place soon. I've been looking for a place for 5 years already.
Vamos a esperar a 2 años. Con proyectos.
They sent me to the projects, but I have to wait about 2 years.
And the projects is hell. The projects is like that's like a prison.
Hundreds of working people like us are being evicted from apartments and forced into the streets every day.
And this is oppression. This is oppression. Why? Because the rich hate the poor, man. They abhor the poor. Let me see what this says in the GNT. In the GNT, it says this is Sirach chapter 13, verse 20. In the GNT, it says, Humility is an abomination to the proud. Likewise, the poor are an abomination to the rich. So the rich look at the poor as an abomination. When a rich person totters, he's supported by. Oh, that's well. I want to stay right there. I want to stay right there because I'm still reading. Right? Yeah. So again, the rich look at the poor as an abomination, bro. That's how they feel about you. You got Jake crying to this man to have a heart for them, and they will never have a heart for you, right? It's a disgust to see you. That's how they feel. Right? Let's keep on reading verse 21. It says, a rich man beginning to fall is held up by his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. Right? That's right. And it says, when a rich man is fallen, falleth, he have many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely, and he could have no place, man. And that's what we're going through now. Right? If we were Jay-Z, we were somebody that Jake idolized in this world, you would listen. Even if the nigga just babble. But if it's a poor man speak and he slipped, you ready to rebuke him. Even though if you speak wisely, he ain't got no place there. In the GNT it says, when a rich person totters, he is supported by friends. But when the humble falls, the humble is us, the poor, he is pushed away by his friends, even by friends. If the rich person slips, many comes to the rescue. He speaks unseemly words, but they justify him. If the humble person slips, they even criticize him. He talks sense, but is not given a hearing, man. Right? Because again, like I said, the rich hate the poor. And that's how it is in this world. And Jakes don't understand that we're all suffering here, man. Fuck the other nations. We're talking about the 12 tribes, bro. We're catching hell, bro. And these nations love it. They love it to be so. It didn't just happen overnight, right? And this is over time, over different processes of time. Esau has destroyed Jacob, all right? Destroyed us, okay? Jeremiah 50:33, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shah of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, right? So we're captives together, especially here in Babylon the Great. You got Jake, because a lot of the Hispanic, so-called Hispanic, when they came over here, they were calling themselves white. A lot of I'm about to show you too, what you're going to learn is that the natural Edomite population is extremely small. It's not as big as they say it is, but they encompass other groups of people in there. And that's why you got a term called non-Hispanic, right? I was like, what is non-Hispanic white? You usually see that on forums when they ask you your so-called race, right? It says non-Hispanic whites or non-Latino whites are white Americans classified by the United States Census as white. According to the United States Census Bureau, non-Hispanic white is a term used to describe white Americans who are not Hispanics or Latino ancestry. This includes people with origins in Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. The Census Bureau defines white to include European Americans, Middle Eastern Americans, and North African Americans. And this ain't talking about the North Africans are Arabic Ishmaelites too. More than half of the white population is made up of German, Irish, English, Italian, Polish Americans, right? Non-Hispanics whites made up 58.9% of the U.S. population, right? And that how you thinking that then you Edomites is no, it's because they put a whole bunch of people within that group. This was 0.2 decline from the previous year, mainly due to natural decrease, right? So this is what a non-Hispanic is, non-Hispanic white is, right? And so a lot of the Jakes, they thought that, well, I'm right, that I'm white, but when you get over here, you don't get that white treatment. You don't get that first class treatment. You get that prison treatment. And Jake singing these songs of sorrow, bro.
We can move to they don't give us any other appointments, but we can move to
Some lawyers, thing they ask you, that children, you live on welfare. I mean, as soon as you mention those two things, they said no, or they said the price too high, so you can't afford it. You know that the welfare wouldn't pay for it.
It is. You see, Jake's down there. Jake's got to go to these people, this man, for the want of all things, man. All right. This is Isaiah 14 and 17. I'll start at 16. They that see thee, because this is going to happen to you Edomites when you fall, right? They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake kingdoms? Because you Edomites going to lose your power, right? And you're going to be brought down. You're going to be the poor man that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the houses of his prisoners. In the NLT it says, is this the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? And that's what the earth is, it's a wasteland. There's some beautiful parts of it, but this place is a wasteland. Is this the king who demolished the world's greatest cities and no mercy and had no mercy on his prisoners, man? You see? And in NIV it says this, the man who made the world a wilderness and who overthrew its cities and would not let its captives go home, man. Because our home is not America. Our home is not Puerto Rico. It's not the Dominican Republic. You might feel that way because you grew up there, you were born there, but our home is Yasha Allah, is Israel, bro. And it's bigger than what the slice of land that they fighting over right now. Okay? That's our home. And this devil ain't gonna let us go home. Why? Because they took our home. They took our jobs. They took our homes, man. Right? So you can't even buy a house here in prison, in captivity. Right? I typed in a list of household income by race in America. Right? It says, here are the median household incomes in the United States in 2022 by race and ethnicity. Right? You got the Asians, and that could encompass Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, East Indians, whatever. Their median income is $108,000. That's the median income. The white non-Hispanic, right, is 81,000. Two or more races, I don't know what this means. Two or more races, 69,000. And then you see Jake on the bottom. You see Jake on the bottom. You got Hispanics, 62,800, blacks, 52,860, American Indian, Alaskan Native, 52,000. And I know for a fact that Jake ain't making this kind of money. Asian Americans have typically had the highest median income, which is often around double that of Black Americans. In 2020, Asian American households made an income of 94,000, while Black household made a median income of 45,000, man, $870, which is nothing, right? So we lead the league in oppression. You know what I'm saying? List of home ownership by race. As of the fourth quarter of 2023, home ownership rates in the United States vary by race and ethnicity, with non-Hispanic white Americans having the highest rate of 73.8%. You got Asian Americans behind them at 63%, Hispanic Americans at 49.8%, and then Black Americans on the bottom, 45.9%. Right? And I don't even know how true this is. But our people Jake is on the bottom. But when it comes to destroying yourself, right, and killing each other, right, we lead the league in that. Death by homicide by race, right, in America. In 2022, an FBI report reported that 10,470 black people were murdered in the United States compared to 7,704 white people, man. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Homicide by race. Look, the most recent race-specific age-adjusted homicide rates 33.6%. 100,000 for African American persons, 12.9 for American Indian, Alaskan Native, 6.9 per 100,000. I'm sorry, let me read this again. The most recent race-specific age-adjusted homicide rates are 33.6% of 100,000 African American persons, and 12.9 for American Indian, Alaskan Native persons, and 6.9 per 100,000 for Hispanic persons, 3.3% out of 100,000 for whites, and then 1.7 for Asian and Pacific Islanders. So we lead the league in everything negative and nothing positive, man. It says households with white and non-Hispanic households were 10 times wealthier than those with black households, man. You see? And you brothers can read this. I ain't gonna go through this, but because you already know what time it is. You already know we in hell. We in prison.